Good morning, students. Today we are going to start a new course on OOPS through Java. So, on today's session, we'll try to discuss few topics on what is Java, how it is named as Java, and what is the history about it, and what are the features of it, and other many things. So, coming to the history of the Java. So, the Java was developed by Mr. James Gosling. It is a product from Sun Microsystem in 1991. So usually, uh, it's not named as Sun Microsystem first. It is actually named as Oak organization. Later on, that Oak was changed to Sun Microsystem. And about the product name, they thought different names even after long discussions and keep various groups. So they finally named it as Java. So actually, Java is a one of the island name in Indonesia. That island is very famous for producing a good coffee name called Java. So he coined that name, Java, right, for this programming. So this is about how they named it as a Java. Clear? So we can see uh, the father of this Java programming name. So Mr. James Gosling. So and this was developed by his team and called it a green team. So this green team, they supported him to developing this Java software. Okay, right. So coming to the history, very first Java Enterprise Edition was developed by released as JDK 1.0. So very first Java Enterprise Edition JDK 1.0 was released in 1996 on January 23rd. So and from there on, for every 6 to 8 months, a new JDK version is going to release, and this JDK 1.0 version is used for various Windows applications, web applications, enterprise applications, and mobile applications. Right. So the latest Java version which we have is Java S23 version, and it was released on last year. I mean September 17, 2024. So while designing this programming language, Mr. Gosling, he kept C and C++ style structure in his mind. So most of the Java programming syntaxes styles will be implemented based on the structure of C and C++ commands. Okay. So coming to the Java platform, there are three Java platform versions we have. Very first one is Java Enterprise Edition, and Java Standard Edition, and Java Micro Edition. So there are three editions we have. Very first one, Enterprise Edition, Java Micro Edition, and Java Standard Edition. And the Standard Edition will use it in regular day-to-day life, desktop, laptops, everywhere. And we'll go with the Micro Edition in mobile phones, right, tablets and all. And we'll run Java Enterprise Editions in servers. So network servers or data servers. So we'll use Java platform, Java Enterprise Editions in servers. Right. Coming to the features, there are so many features we have for the Java because it's a very wonderful, beautiful programming language. Coming to the main specific features, there are so many, but I just mentioned the top one. So it's simple, object-oriented. It's robust, secure, platform independent, architectural neutral, portable, interpreted, multi-threading, and dynamic. So these are the different advantages or features, I can say, features of the Java. We'll try to see each one, what is this and all. So for example, if I go with the simple, so it's a simple programming language. Why I'm saying it simple is if you have a basic knowledge of C and C++. If you have a basic knowledge of C and C++, you can easily learn Java. So it's not that much complicated to learn. And syntaxes are very much similar to the C and C++. Secured, right? Since we are using a special, Java runtime environment to run all the programs and to do programming, so it is so safe and secured, right? And third feature is object oriented. So what is the object and why we are calling it as object oriented, we'll see in coming days. So now I can say what is object means a physical entity existence, will call it as a object. So for example, in your C language, methods or functions and data types such variables or abstracts, these all are comes under objects. So if I talk about a array, if I talk about a list, if I talk about a set of data, right? If I talk about a function, if I talk about many things, they will be considered it as a object. So in the Java, this object plays a crucial role. That's why we'll call this as a object-oriented programming language. So it's object oriented because everything will treat it as a object, and this object having a state and behavior. So if you consider car is also a object, for example, having some state as its speed and color, price. These all describes about state and behavior. State means what is the color and what is a model and all. The state behavior means how fast it will go, what is the speed limit we have, what is the comfortability of seats. This all comes under behavior. Okay, so Java is an object-oriented programming language. Coming to the next feature is a robust. Java is a robust programming language. Why I'm calling that word is, so you are Java having enormous support in exception handling. So we have so much of exception handling capability. So in the due course, we'll learn what are the exceptions and how to going to handle it, and what are the different types of exceptions. This is all stuff we're going to learn. Okay, and memory management. So memory management means Java having efficient memory management. So when you create a object for one time, so some memory will be allocated for it. Okay, and if you reuse this object or reset the object, right, a new object won't be created. It's just its reference will be given to the another variable. So what happened? Object will be created only once, right? If you call that object for as many times, only reference will be sent, not the object. So that means, so effective memory, right, management will be done in the Java. Okay, and portable. What is mean by portable? It's like a pen drive. We can carry data from one system to another system using a pen drive. Even your Java programming also is like a portable. What it means, but if you have a Java file, otherwise we have a Java class file. What is Java class file also we'll see right later on. So for example, you have a Java file. So every Java file will be stored with a .java extension. .java extension. So let me write, for example, I have a program. In this program, I'm writing some task. And name of this program as some sample.java. So I name this program as sample.java. So this sample.java file, right? Okay, so usually a class file. Usually it is a class file. Okay, it's a class file. So what is class file? We'll see, don't worry. And this class file, I repeat, this class file will be, right, using compiler, it will be compiled and converted into a object bytecode. Okay, object bytecode. Okay, and this bytecode, if I carry, right, and if I run it on any machine means you can go for Mac, or you can go for Windows, or you can go for Linux. So you can run this bytecode in any system using Java virtual machine. Java virtual machine will shortly call it as JVM. So this object bytecode will be executable in any machine. So once, right, you convert its bytecode and deploy or run your program on any machine. Okay, even Android version also supportable. All right. So I told you it is runnable. It will be executed in many operating systems. So it is a platform independent also. Why platform means I can run this on, right? I can run this on any platform. Look at this example here. So I have a .class file, and this .class file will be converted into a bytecode, and this bytecode will be executed. Same bytecode will be executed in Mac operating system with the support of JVM, and same object file will be, right, executed in Windows operating system using JVM. Same bytecode file will be executed in Linux with the help of Java virtual machine. So what is this Java virtual machine? We'll see in some time. So these are, it means that, so once you have a bytecode in your hand, you can execute in any operating system, right? So that's why I'm calling it as a platform independent, right? So next, Java compiler, it generates architectural neutral object file format. So I can say that's why it's an architectural neutral one. Next, interpreted. So what is mean by interpreted is whatever source code I'm having, I told you it is converted into a bytecode. So after that, so your JVM, which is an interpreter, will execute your bytecode into step-by-step manner. So I can say your Java is also a interpreted language, right? Interpreted language. Clear? So these are about Java features which we have seen, right? Apart from this, we also have multi-threading, and we also have dynamic and all. Okay, chalo. Right. So now coming to the architecture of JDK, JVM, JRE. So if you consider a JDK software, I repeat, if I consider JDK software, normally a software consists of so many packages and other files, right? So normally in the JDK file, we have JRE, Java Runtime, right, environment. Along with that, Java Runtime environment, along with that, some development tools will be there like Java C file, Java C dot Java package, etc. So many files such like name called Java C and Java. These files will be there, right, along with the Java environment, right? Java runtime environment, and this together is called as a JDK. And if I go inside of the JRE, so there are few libraries and other files. Along with the libraries and other files, we also have a very famous popular Java virtual machine, right? This JVM, right, will integrate with the libraries and other files and supports an execution of the given class file. So this is the internal architecture of the JDK, JVM, and right Java runtime environment, JRE. Okay, right. How your Java program which you wrote in a file will be executed. So remember, to write down a program or to execute a Java file, there are so many IDEs available such as Eclipse or Visual Studio. But even you can run a Java program using basic Notepad, or you can use other IDEs if you have, where you feel comfortable, right? So whatever source you have written first, that right source code we use to write in a text file, .txt file, right? In that, so after writing the source code, we'll try to save the source code with a .java file. Okay, so that is the first step. Okay, and those files, right, those Java files will be compiled and converted into a .class file. This is a .class file. So for example, if I create a .java file with a name called sample.java. So your JVM, right, executes. Sorry, your compiler compiles your Java file and it creates a .class file. It creates the .class file, right? And this .class file, right, doesn't contain any code. It contains, right, your bytecode. So this bytecode, right, will be decoded into a zeros and ones. I repeat, this bytecode will be converted to zeros and ones, and that will be given to a machine. So remember, machine can understand only, right, zeros and one. That we call it as, right, machine level programming language. So that's why this JVM will convert that zeros and ones into a portable, right, rated IO file, portable zeros and ones file. So the part of JVM is crucial here. Okay, so this Java tool runs, right, in the virtual machine. So this is a first step, writing a Java file. Second step, creating with help of compiler, creating its, right, .class file. Once you have a .class file, use JVM to break into a zeros and ones, and that zeros and one will be applied to your computer. So this is about a step-by-step process what we have in the Java execution, right? So in the next class we'll try to discuss about, right, how to install the Java software in a system and basics of programming language. Thank you.